Hey, welcome back, everybody. Time to grab your gear and saddle up for some Veteran Strong USA as we talk about the path that veterans are on today here and the people who are helping them along. Like our show host, the founder, Veteran Strong USA, Ted Fuentes. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome to Veteran Strong USA podcast, broadcasting right here on OC Talk Radio. I'm Ted Fuentes, and together we're shining a light on the mental health challenges facing our veteran community right here in Orange County and across California. Through real conversations with veterans, mental health professionals, and community leaders, we'll explore the struggles, share the triumphs, and highlight the resources that save lives and restore families. Because at Veteran Strong USA, we believe in empowering veterans one horse at a time. This is more than a podcast. It's a mission. Let's ride.
Well, let's ride. I'm going to bring myself into this one here because there's no guest today here. So let me insert myself into the video. Today's the show we should have done to start with, but we're going to do it today. And we'll kind of run it periodically to remind people who you are, what your organization does, and more importantly for me, why are you here doing a show? So let's back up. Who's Ted Fuentes?
Thank you. Well, let's see here. I grew up in the South Bay in Manhattan Beach. I'm sorry, El Segundo. Spent a lot of time in Manhattan Beach. And then when I was a kid, right around 12, we moved up to a little country town in Amador County called Ione, and we had a 20-acre ranch up there with all the animals, horses, pigs, chickens, milk cow. I mean, you name it.
How do you go from the South Bay and being an urban kid to a farmer kid, to a farm in the northern? That's a big shift right there.
It sure was. My mom and her husband at the time wanted to get us out of the South Bay and just away from all the distractions and that. And it was great because up there in Ione where I lived, we were 10 miles from town. And like I said, we had 20 acres. We'd take off on our horses in the morning, pack a lunch, and spend the day out in the mountains there. And
yeah, Amador's up where the gold country is and all.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. It's probably one of the greatest times of my life, aside from having my kids. We returned 4 years later, and then while I was up there in Ione, I was exposed to the equestrian side of life. Like I said, we had the horses and that showing and just having a lot of fun.
No houses in the South Bay and Hawthorne or wherever you said you were from, right?
There are some, not in El Segundo, that's for sure. It's a beach community. But we returned and, I joined the Air Force in 1986.
And why? What was it that made you say that's for me?
Well,
get away or see the world or patriotism or what?
Mostly patriotism and my love for aircraft. If you know where El Segundo is situated, it's right there on the south side of the runway.
That's what I was wondering. That's right there. You're in Flight Central, Flight City, right around there. Yeah.
Very loud, and it was a great experience growing up there. Still maintain some incredible friendships from my El Segundo days. So went to the Air Force, 86, was trained to be a crew chief on KC-135s, which is a mid-air refueling plane. Had a lot of fun doing that. Was stationed at Castle Air Force Base in Merced. Did a few trips around the United States, nothing overseas, but just stayed stateside. Made some of the greatest friendships of my life. Still have those friendships. And then returned home 4 years later from active duty, did 3 years in the reserves out at March Air Force Base, and got out, I think it was 93. Yeah,
so that sounds like a happy story. Where did the trouble, where did the difficulties arise here?
Well, for me, didn't really have too many difficulties, maybe some things experienced in boot camp, but I think most veterans people are going to laugh at me when I talk about Air Force boot camp.
It's supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be intimidating.
It's actually kind of a country club compared to the other branches of the service. Maybe not the Navy, but definitely the Army and Marines. They have the harder boot camps to.
Right. That's what I've heard. I don't know anything about them. All right, so you came, but somewhere along the way you said either you needed help or you saw other veterans needed help or both, right?
Well, in 2009, I formed my IT consulting business, and I learned about the opportunities that exist in the state of California related to certified disabled veteran business enterprises. They have a 3% set aside for those state certified
Right.
businesses for just about every RFP contract that is pushed out through the state of California.
They
Uh,
have to. They not only want to, they have to disperse money uh, because we've all felt a need to help veterans more. You guys put your life on the line, and then thanks. And then many suffer not only physical traumas, emotional traumas, or just reintegration traumas, get back into society traumas.
well, that program was signed into law. I want to say in the was it the late '80s, or I think it was the late '80s, by a Korean War combat veteran by the name of John K. Lopez,
Mm,
and with the state of California. And the thought process was, while our peers are going off and getting their college degree, we're in the military, so they're 4 years, 5 years, 6 years ahead of us
right.
on
Job experience and whatever.
yeah, pursuing
Resume, right.
exactly pursuing their career. So I formed this company, got it certified disabled veteran business enterprise and also small business enterprise. And
Did
along the
you,
way,
I'm sorry, did you go through anything like the Small Business Administration has programs? I do some side work for the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers, and we had Troy Small on here, who works out of the Temecula office, who is an Army vet in procurement, and he helps people procure that, whatever you need, that qualification, that certification, so you can apply for these jobs, as well as point you towards how to find them.
well, I did not work with the Small Business Administration, although I do think that they're a great organization, SBDC as well.
Right.
However, the state of California, the DVBE program, and also the small business program, they're considered one of the pioneers in this
Mm.
space. And I got my certifications through the state of California. Um,
Because that's not easy. It's not just fill out a form. I don't think there's some. That seems to be intimidating. It seems to be a hurdle that many vets don't want to jump over or don't know how to jump over.
a lot of them don't want to expose their financials to the state of California. So they don't want to, because when you get certified with the state of California, you have to upload all your corporate documentation to include bylaws and
Mm. Yeah,
financials
they
and
want to know who you are.
yeah, and so a lot of these veterans don't want that oversight on them, which I understand. Um, it has opened up some doors for me, but it's it's a ticket to the table. It's not a guarantee of any business. So
Right,
it
right.
gets you a seat at the table.
And you can apply for grants and other sorts of things that are out there.
There are things available to us that may not necessarily be available to
Everybody, to
yeah,
me. But
yeah.
that's okay. It's not a handout. It's a thank you.
What
It's part of the contract you signed.
we call it a hand up
Right.
is what we call it. So through my journey as a certified DVBE, I met some of the most incredible men and women in this space. Mostly were a lot of Vietnam combat vets,
Hmm.
tried and tested, right? So met these
We
men.
could do, and I hope we will do shows on that because that was that's my generation.
Yep,
I did not go serve. I was in college, and I saw those that I did know that did go serve came back pretty traumatized, and not the society was a different time, was not a very unpopular word, didn't welcome them back, and at the same time they weren't ready to get reintegrated. There was a lot of trauma, things we never discussed, post-traumatic stress and Agent Orange and all these things that now we know about, but nobody talked about them in the 60s when they came back, or the 70s.
that's correct. So along the way there, I got more immersed in the legislative process of veteran advocacy and veteran legislation.
And why? What drew you into it? What did, is it because of the people you were seeing? What you came back and said, "Okay, I'm going to become a veteran certified business." I get that, But why get pulled into legislation and fighting, advocating for veterans?
Because the quick answer is because I thought I could do it better than some of these other veterans,
Okay.
and that's no, it's not a disrespect towards them. It's just I felt like they moved too slow,
Okay.
and so the
You don't strike me as somebody who moves slow. You just want to get in there and do. When you started the show, you were like, "Let's start next week." I'm like, "Next week, yeah."
well, we have a saying in the military, GSD. You know what that means?
No.
Getting shit done. Okay.
Okay. Well, you seem to be somebody who gets stuff done here. Yeah.
Yeah. So along that legislative journey, we started. I started putting forth legislative concepts that would improve the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Program because, as you can imagine, at all levels of government and some of these larger contractors for the government, they really don't want to set aside business for smaller disabled veteran owned businesses because it impacts their bottom line.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do I have to do this? Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So some of the legislative concepts that I put forth and were signed into law are just laws that embolden and strengthened our programs and the utilization behind it, and not just on the prime contractor side, but also on the disabled veteran business enterprise side. Um, Not everyone is created equal. Let me back up there. Everyone is created equal. However, what you do with that determines,
Yeah.
where you fall.
Equal opportunity doesn't mean equal outcomes.
Right. So, some veteran-owned businesses have been caught, conducting fraud, and so some of my legislation, um, you know, uh, basically protected our program from the bad actors on both sides.
Because that's the ones that kill the programs, kill the golden goose here.
Yep.
They take advantage of it. So I got to push you one more time and then I'll quit. Why? You're writing legislation. I didn't hear any background in public policy or working at a local political office or state senate or something. How? I wouldn't know how to go out and write legislation. I'm a pretty smart guy. I don't know that I'd go out and know how to write legislation or even propose legislation, much
Well,
less get them to pass legislation.
yeah. Obviously, I was trained, if you will, from some people that had knowledge in this area. The people that I mentioned weren't working fast enough.
Okay.
They educated me on this stuff. And
These are other veterans or something that you met?
yeah, other veterans
Okay.
with nonprofit organizations. So
So you met some of them. They showed you what's out there. And you said, I can do this faster, better. Off it launches. You got some stuff passed. I still don't get how horse therapy gets into this.
well, I'm getting to that. So
It's a long journey, a long
yeah,
ride.
it is. So along the way, I formed a entity, if you will, called Veteran Strong USA, and the sole purpose of Veteran Strong USA was improving the lives of veterans through legislation.
Okay.
In that journey, I really got to see firsthand the mental health issues that really have impacted our community. And that's when I started shifting gears away from that legislation that I mentioned to you to,
Action.
yeah, action, really going after the mental health side of the veteran
Now I
community.
can hear everybody asking the question. I'm asking the question: were you experiencing mental health issues, or did you just observe them in others? Because
I've,
you weren't in a combat role, so maybe you
yeah.
didn't experience it, or maybe you did.
Yeah, I've had my own stuff happen in the military. I think majority of people that have served have had some type of trauma. We hold these combat veterans to a very high level, and so the other traumas we experience in the military, we don't typically chat about.
So let me just push on a little bit because we do another show with a guy named Tyrone French who was in the Navy for a number of years in the flight decks, and he said, "No, I didn't nobody shot at me. But he said, you don't know what it's like, the tension that goes on in these units. You don't know what happens, that the stress that we're placed, loud, noisy, uh, bangs, stuff going on. You don't know what it's like to people just regularly die, even on training exercises. Of, oh, I knew him and I knew him. People kill themselves. There's stress and stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. You're even if you're not in combat, there are people being subjected to high stress, high drama, trauma, and enduring losses.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
And you're just supposed to shake it off. It's just the job. It's what we do. Oh, he got killed. He landed the plane, crashed in the water. Okay, next, drag it off, keep going.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. But I started seeing these combat veterans returning home from OEIF, OIF, and just they've changed. And not only have they changed, but their family members have changed.
Yeah.
And we're expecting them to integrate back into society, but we're not providing them with the proper tools. And a lot of these men and some women as well come home missing limbs, traumatic brain injuries, survivor's guilt,
Right.
PTSD, military sexual trauma. Military sexual trauma is the one thing that typically gets swept under the
I
rug.
never heard anybody talk about that one.
It's I,
You said it's pretty high.
yeah, I think it's around 26, 27% of women and about 13 or 14% of men.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I decided about, I think it was 4 years ago, that I was going to shift from um, the legislative stuff to the mental health side.
Front line. Let's see if we can help them one on one here.
Yeah, and so with my own struggles, being in dark places at times, I felt this calling for me to reconnect with the equestrian side of my life,
Hmm.
and I
And what is it? You talk about issues of trust and issues of.
trust, anxiety, fear,
Mhm.
not being in control in certain situations, depression,
Mhm.
um, just removing yourself from society or
Mhm.
social situations, and that's those are all very real things for veterans. And so
And a horse does what? How
uh,
does a horse?
well, a horse is a reflection of us. So when we step into the round pen, doing some Monty Roberts join up therapy, the original horse whisper.
Is
Um,
that what the real guy's name was?
yep,
Yeah.
yep, Monty Roberts. You start to learn how to communicate with these animals on their language, not human language, and this is through body language. And so we can learn so much by from a human rather, just by paying attention to their body language. So these horses teach us how to communicate and recognize the signs that they want to be part of the herd. They
Mhm.
are herd animals, they're prey animals. They look at us as predators. And so
Hmm.
while we're working with them in the round pen, we're developing trust with them. And as we develop trust, they show us signs such as um, the softening of the eyes, the softening of the nostrils, the licking of the lips. Uh,
Visual clues.
yeah, yeah, dropping their heads.
So I don't want to make too much of it, or maybe I don't make enough of it. But is this the same reintegration, trust, reading each other kind of difficulties that veterans are having with the rest of us humans here? So maybe the horse teaches them how to trust and integrate and recognize signs and build relationships and all these things that maybe they're struggling with as they come back.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing with veterans and the join up therapy or horses in general is working through their anxiety. Okay. So that's the main thing,
Starting
which,
with the anxiety getting on a horse. How many vets have ever even seen a horse? I've never really ridden a horse, once or
well,
twice.
yeah, that's a very important topic you bring up there. So most of the times, these veterans that have never been around a horse, they show up and their anxiety levels are super
Yeah,
high.
kid from Hawthorne who's never seen a horse or whatever.
Yeah, I was
Alex
working with
Shaga.
one lady, um, Navy veteran, just a wonderful lady. And I remember the first time we had gotten into the round pen together, and she was just sweating so bad. And
Combat veteran or a military veteran, and she's sweating because of a horse. They're big, they're powerful, they scare me.
yeah, and so I asked her, I'm like, "You all right?" And she says, "No." She's like, "I'm scared shitless." And I'm like, "Well, we're gonna work through this together." And so, you know, that first session grew into 6, 7, 8 sessions, and you know, she loved it, and she gained more confidence in herself, and you know, communication was better and more confident as well. But so wanted to kind of go back to how me shifting gears
Okay.
and to legislative stuff and to
We got about 10 minutes left here,
all
so I'm
right,
trying
it's
to
good
move through it.
stuff. Empowering veterans one horse at a time. I've been successful. When I first launched this program, I wanted to show people before I went out and asked for money.
Right.
Okay.
Does it work?
Yeah. And so a lot of these
And can
nonprofits,
you do the work?
yes. And so a lot of these nonprofits, 501c3s, which Veterans Strong USA is, they form and then they're out there asking for money
Yeah.
without.
Give me the money, and then we'll show you what we can do.
Exactly. So
Right.
with me, it's more along the lines of, hey, this is what I've been doing for a year and a half, 2 years. These are the veterans that I've served. You
Here's
know,
what we've seen. Here's what we've done. Here's the
yep,
testimonials. Here's what we've learned.
yes. And so that kind of opened the door to money coming in. I've been fortunate enough to receive some um, large grants and some large donations that have allowed me to expand services.
Including the County of Orange, I think.
Yes,
Right?
County of Orange gave me excuse me,
Here's
100,000.
$100. Here's $100. Go with
We'll take anything. We'll take $1, $5, 100,000. It all goes towards an important cause.
Yeah.
So
But they give you 100,000.
yeah, they gave me 100,000, and was able to purchase another horse. These therapy horses are not cheap. Okay,
I
as
have
an
no idea what a horse costs.
as an example, the one that I purchased, Guns and Whizzes, he was 20 grand, and that's on the low side, by the way.
Because they have to have, what, a certain personality, a certain ability to work with somebody. They can't be wild and bucking broncos or something.
Well, exactly. They have to be a calm horse that people can comfortably move around and not have to be concerned about safety in that.
Right.
So, and they pick up on energy. You know, if you show up to the ranch and you're high energy and you're anxious, they're going to pick up on that. If you're coming there and you're, you know, depressed,
Angry or
yeah,
depressed or something. They say, well, they always say it about animals in general, but they can sense us. That's what they do.
yep,
We do too, but we've blocked that out through eons of civilization. We don't necessarily see and react and respond to each other on the same animal level that they do.
yeah, and horses are fight or flight animals, just like humans. You know, so there's a lot of similarities there. I work with a lot of combat veterans, and I work with veterans. I'm sorry, active duty military, and some of their kids. I work with veterans and their kids. So one thing I wanted to touch on is that you know, when COVID hit, the generation that was hit the hardest by COVID is right around the fifth, sixth grade year, and you know, the studies, if you will, suggest that, and so
Why? What was any idea why?
well, I
I have
think that
grandkids that are right around that age, and they went through that during COVID. I wouldn't think of them as being the most impacted.
well, because I think that's when they're really starting to hit puberty, and they're really learning how to communicate and come out of their shell.
And who they are.
Yeah, and so they were removed from the classroom, and even and you know, forced to learn online, which is a lot of people can't do that.
No.
You know, and so
Best we could do, but no, I'm not sure it worked that well for
yeah,
most of them.
and then you know, they were forced to wear masks. Okay, which I was not a fan of myself, because now you have these kids hiding their faces.
Yeah.
Um,
Covering who they are. Can't see the expressions on your face. Can't.
yes,
respond
Yes.
to visual cues.
Very non-emotional. And kids are emotional. You know, we want to encourage that emotion.
You know who else we did a show during that period of time with a doctor here? He brought in a lot of doctors, and they said, you know how hard it is to diagnose a patient with a mask on? Because we've been trained to look at visual cues, their eye, their mouth, and know is something happening in your mouth? Is something happening the way you breathe? Is something, they're looking for nonverbal cues, and those are all cut off.
Yep, yep, that's a great description. So the fifth graders are now 10th and 11th graders,
Mm.
okay? And if you look at what's going on in our schools and stuff, you know, a lot of these kids are having issues. They're having issues with learning. They're having issues with authority. They're having,
Bullying, oh my
yeah,
God, they're killing themselves,
yep.
they're committing crimes, they're cutting themselves, all these things I can't believe of I hear about all the time.
Yes, exactly. So I work with you know, a couple young adults that age, and it's such a treat to work with these kids. You
I'll
know, they're
bet.
so into it, they love it. I have one young lady that I work with who's in 10th grade, I think, and she's a product of that COVID era that I just spoke of. And she'll tell you, I've asked her before what happened, you know, during COVID, and she said, my life just stopped.
Mm.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty
At a
powerful.
point when it's just starting.
Yeah. And the other traumatic thing that happened to her is her family lived out in Altadena and they lost everything in the fires. So they're rebuilding their lives down here. And it's been a little difficult for her, but I love working with her. She's a fantastic young lady and just a great person.
So we're going to, throughout this journey, you're going to share lots of those kind of stories of everybody we work with, including veterans, mostly veterans, and how you help and how this therapy helps and what they get out of it and how they respond to it. I can't wait to hear that because that's a world I don't understand of veterans returning, and I sure don't understand veterans and horses. That's two things I don't understand. So how they work together and how they help each other, I can't wait to hear more. What's your vision? That's my last question here. Where
Well,
is Veteran Strong going? Is it just you and a couple of horses helping a couple of people one at a time?
Uh, Thank you for asking that question. My vision is we have addiction problems in the veteran community. We have alcohol problems in the veteran community. And the family is the veteran, okay? And so,
Really is. I hear that over time. My father was a veteran. He always said that you don't understand. It's once you've gone through that shared experience, that shared trauma, you're bonded together in a way you can't explain.
yes, our our suicide rate is 43 per day. It's not the 22, it's not the 17 that the VA says it's gone down to. That is factually incorrect. It's 43 per day.
You
And
say that every time I meet you, every place, everywhere.
yep,
Your outrage at that. You're incredible. I can't believe this. Why isn't this front page news every day, everywhere, all the time? 43 a day.
yep. So the previous guest we had, Dr. Maroon, he knew the number. He knew it, okay?
Hmm.
Because 5 states in the union tracked veteran overdoses. Only 5 states tracked that. And only 5 states in the union
Wow.
tracked the veteran suicide numbers of veterans that weren't in the VA healthcare
Do we
system.
do that? Are we a good state in California or not?
California does not. I tried to get a legislator to pick it up and they wouldn't touch it. We have a drug problem in California,
Oh,
huge drug problem. We have an alcohol problem in California.
right.
So my vision is to have a sanctuary, if you will, and it is a treatment facility or a sober living home for veterans only.
You
We
don't want to
have
mix them with everybody because so many people that get into these programs are, I hate to say it, they were in a gang or they were, so the court has somehow ordered them into these programs here and it may not mix well, the mixture. You're saying veterans should be with veterans.
Absolutely. No one understands a veteran better than a veteran.
Right.
Being in these sober living homes or these treatment facilities with other people that haven't experienced what we have, it's not a good setup. It's not good for the veterans. So my goal
May actually be antagonistic and not get along. Because people, you think if we all had an alcohol problem, I don't care if you're 6 or 60, we're all going to relate to it. But you're saying there's something special, additional challenge that only veterans can understand.
Yes, because we understand, the challenges and the traumas that, veterans have experienced, because many of us have experienced it ourselves.
And the
So,
way they're treated in society. I continually hear stories of, you don't know what it's like to be a veteran. You have a problem, and suddenly everybody thinks you're going to go off and shoot up the place or something here, or the way they look at you, or the hesitancy of hiring you, or other. I don't know if these are real or not, but I hear people talk about these issues.
well, the comment of veterans being physical or, shooting places up is incorrect. The only people that we want to hurt is ourselves.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
But the sanctuary that I'm talking about, the treatment facility or sober living home, a mainstay of the treatment facility or be the focal point of the horse. Okay. And I want that in Orange County. And if there's
which
any,
was once a horse county. We were cowboys. This is all this stuff was giant ranches and stuff here. We still see ourselves that way, but there ain't many ranches left in Orange County. It's just one big, urban landscape now here.
yeah, we just put my wish list out there for your listeners. Okay. We need some land, 20 to 40 acres. I
Whew.
know that's asking for a lot.
In Orange
Um,
County? Oh
yeah,
boy.
yeah. Well, you'd be surprised at the land that's still available around here. We need donors to help fund, these buildings and whatever you want to call them for the beds.
Hey, you got a little
Uh,
ranch. Yeah.
yeah, we and taking care of the horses every day. That's part of the therapy. Mucking stalls, feeding them, having
Grooming them.
grooming them, learning how to take care of them. That's all part of the therapy, the
And
daily
I'm
therapy.
not trying to put words in your mouth, but I'm guessing now. Does that take me momentarily out of my problems? It's all about me. I can't get outside of my own world, my own head, my own problems, and now I got to take care of somebody else, another living creature.
Well, that's part of it, but it's more about creating that value for themselves again.
Mm,
Okay, creating purpose for them.
there you go.
That's the main thing.
This
But
horse needs me. I can help him
yep,
or her.
and the other side of that too is that we need therapists also to be part of this Veteran Strong USA sanctuary. These are my dreams. Will
So
they
that
happen? I
so
don't know.
you've you seem like a guy that gets stuff done. So I'm not. What am I going to say? No. I hope we can help you make that journey come true. If nothing else, I hope through this show people can learn, as I'm learning, about a world we never hear about. A world that we know it's out there, but we somehow think they're fine. We got all these VA programs. We're going to help them all. We never, and veterans don't advocate, in my opinion, enough because they're self-sufficient, don't want to whine, don't complain. Not, I can handle this, and so they're not out publicly saying I need help or asking for help.
Yes, and the one thing I will say to your listeners and my listeners is that we need donations, obviously. If you are feeling like this is a cause you want to get behind, you can go to our website and make a donation, www.veteranstrongusa.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Veteran Strong USA. Facebook is USA Veteran Strong, and our YouTube channel is Veteran Strong USA as
Hear
well.
about the work they're doing, hear the stories of the people they're helping, and come back and maybe you want to share and support this journey. And maybe it's not money, maybe it's land, maybe it's other things to help. Do you take donations in kind for the horses, for the feed, for the tack, for the other things? Is it just money you want, or is it more than that?
I want referrals for the veteran that you know and love, or maybe just someone that you think could benefit
You want
from
to
these
help.
services. I want those referrals. Our services don't cost anything to veterans, military, or their family members.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
funded by our donors. That's my commitment to my veteran brothers and sisters. And that's how I started, and that's how I'm going to keep it.
And that's why you need money, because you're not asking for money here. So if these services are free, somebody's got to support you and the horses and the feed and the therapists and all the other stuff that go towards keeping this thing alive.
I just want to clarify one thing. The services are not free. They're provided by our donors. So it's very important that we recognize these donors, because without them, there really wouldn't be a Veteran Strong USA and an equestrian therapy program. I just want to add one more thing before we end our show here. The services that we provide is the Monty Roberts join-up therapy, the EGALA model, equine assisted psychotherapy. We do grooming therapy. We do adaptive riding, also known as therapeutic horsemanship. And once I feel that these men and women and their kids are able to sit in the seat properly, I take them out on the trails.
Well, if you don't know what any of those things are, go look them up, or even better, come back and we'll explain them in the coming episodes here. All these ideas of join up and participate and help as we put wounded veterans with hesitant horses, and together they somehow, like that movie The Horse Whisperer, they somehow communicate with each other and connect with each other, and a bond is built and everybody comes out better for it. I think it's an amazing world, and I look forward to hearing more about it here. Thank you. One more time, how do they reach you?
Veteran Strong USA at gmail.com, or go through our website and you could message us through there.
Or follow this podcast. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Well, there it is. Wow. What a journey. I look forward to hearing more of these stories. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.